दिलों में प्यार की खुशबू तो होठों पर दुआ रखना दिलों में प्यार की खुशबू तो होठों पर दुआ रखना ईमान में वक्त से एक रिश्ता इश्क वफा रखना ईमान में वक्त से
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone, and welcome to Friday Sermon for Kids. You know what we do in this show. Today, with me is Ashir and Waleed. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, guys, and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam, Rabbi Sahib.
Nice to have you guys here. Now, everyone, today we're going to speak about the Friday Sermon of Beloved Huzur on the 3 stages of goodness as mentioned in the Holy Quran.
बहरहाल इस वक्त मैं बाद हवाले आपके सामने पेश करूँगा। इन पर इंसान गौर करे और अपनी ज़िंदगियों का हिस्सा बनाने की कोशिश करे तो एक ऐसा लाएअमल हमें मिलता है जो हकीकत में हमें खुदा ताला के साथ भी जोड़ता है और एक दूसरे के हुकूक अदा करने की तरफ भी तवज्जो दिलाता है और यूँ एक ऐसे हसीन माशरे को भी कायम करता है जो हुकूकुल्लाह और हुकूकुल इबाद अदा करने वाला माशरा।
All right, everyone. Beloved Huzur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Aziz mentioned the 3 stages of goodness found in the Holy Quran and is explained by the promised Messiah ﷺ, and we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, guys, did you guys watch this week's Friday sermon?
Yes, of course, as always.
Yeah, same here. I listened to it too.
And what were the new points that you guys picked up this week?
The new thing that I learned this week was that the promised Messiah ﷺ states that Allah the Almighty desires us for us to reach the high state of goodness, which is giving like kindred.
This week I learned that the Holy Prophet ﷺ did not offer the funeral prayers of those who did not pay their debts.
Those are some really good points, guys. And now, as you know, it's time to hear from all of you at home. And for that, let's go to Kids Take.
In this Friday sermon, Huzur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Aziz says that the promised Messiah ﷺ explained that one who is in the stage of kindness remembers the favor of that one who is being kind to him.
In this Big Friday sermon, our beloved Huzur Abba told us that we should always keep Allah in our mind when we are doing any action. Jazakallah.
In this Friday sermon, our beloved Huzur mentioned justice, kindness, and kindred. Huzur said for us to show justice, which means to give and honor the rights of our fellow human beings. Huzur said the next stage is kindness, where we show kindness to others even if they are mean to us. The next stage is kindred, where we be kind to others expecting nothing in return and do not have any selfish motives. This is the highest form of love for mankind.
Jazakallah for those wonderful points and for sending your videos in. Remember, we always love hearing from you, so make sure to send the points that you learned to us every week. Now, guys, let's get into our discussion.
Rabbi Sahib, I really want to talk about the 3 levels of goodness. Can we get into that now?
Yeah, what was the verse Huzur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Aziz mentioned in the beginning of the Friday sermon?
That's a great question, Waleed, and we're going to start right where beloved Huzur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Aziz started, with the verse of the Holy Quran. So in the Holy Quran, Allah the Almighty states, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَأْمُرُ بِالْعَدْلِ وَالْإِحْسَانِ وَإِيتَاءِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. Now in this verse, you'll see that Allah the Almighty has outlined 3 stages of goodness. The first stage is adl, the second stage is ihsan, and the third stage is ita'i dhil qurba. Now you'll also notice that this verse, we hear it every week after the Friday sermon when the Imam for the Friday prayers, after his sermon, sits down, stands back up and recites the Khutbah Saniya. And we also hear this prayer on the 2 Eid prayers that we attend every year. And so a lot of us have this verse memorized because we hear it so often.
Yeah, that's definitely a familiar verse, and I've heard it a lot.
Yeah, I've also heard it many times, but I've always wondered what it means. With this sermon, everything makes sense.
Exactly. Huzur went in great detail and explained what this verse means and what the 3 stages actually are. So if we go through this verse really quickly, the first stage, adl or justice, is when we treat others with justice, right? The second stage is ihsan, which means we treat others with kindness. And the third stage of goodness is ita'i dhil qurba, which means we treat others as though they were our family or close relatives. Now, one thing that we have to keep in mind as well is that we are mentioning this verse in context of our relationship with other people. But the promised Messiah ﷺ explains that we can also make these steps happen and use these steps to our relationship with Allah the Almighty as well.
Whoa, there's a lot there that needs to be explained.
That's exactly what we're here for. We're going to talk all about what these three stages mean.
Yes, please. And that last stage you mentioned, I couldn't really quite catch it.
Oh, you mean ita'i dhil qurba?
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, let's go to Usman to find out what it means. Let's go to the word of the sermon.
Jazakallah Ashir. As you know, the word of the sermon today is a long one, Ita'i dhil qurba. This is actually a compound word made of two words in the Arabic language. Ita, the first word, means to give, and dhil qurba means like kindred or like family. So, as a whole, the compound word means to give or treat others like they are family. The highest stage of goodness, as explained by beloved Hazur Ayadallahu Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz in his Friday sermon. At this stage, one treats others with such a high level of kindness that it seems as though they are family. Just as parents show love to their children unconditionally, someone at this stage of goodness shows unconditional love and compassion towards others. That's all from me. Back to you guys.
Jazakallah Usman for that wonderful explanation. I hope everything is clear now.
As clear as day, Murabbi Sahib. Now, we only talked about the third stage of goodness in detail. What about the first and second stage?
Yeah, I want to know more about Adl and Ihsan.
Alright, so let's get into the first and second stage. The first stage, as you mentioned, Ashir, is Adl, which means justice. Now what this means is we treat others with justice. So if somebody does a favor to you, you do the same favor to them. Nothing more and nothing less. So this is treating others with adl or with justice. Now at the second stage, which is ihsan, we treat others with kindness. So for example, if somebody gives you a gift, you give them an even greater gift in return. You show them extra kindness and love. So you see the progression from the first stage to the second stage. And you've already heard about the third stage from Usman in the word of the sermon. So although at the second stage, goodness is not at its most highest, and it's not perfect, but it is higher than the first stage. And we've already heard about the perfect stage of goodness, the third stage.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I can see how we can progress into goodness.
That's all good and clear. But Hazur Ayadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz mentioned how these stages also apply to God. What does that even mean?
Excellent, you guys brought that up. I was actually waiting for you to bring that up because it's really important. So the promised Messiah ﷺ explains that these three stages can also be applied to God, and we're going to go through that right now. So at the first stage of adl, meaning justice, how do we do justice to God? Because Allah the Almighty has created us and He has nourished us, raised us, provided for us, we worship Him as He has commanded us to. So we fulfill His rights. At the second stage of ihsan, the Holy Prophet ﷺ has taught us that we should pray to God as though we are looking at Him. We witness Him in front of us. So when we pray in salat, it is as though we are looking at Him and we see God before us. That is the level of ihsan. And at the third level, which is ita'i dhil qurba, we develop this personal love, this really close love with Allah the Almighty, like we have with our close family and relatives, which is ita'i dhil qurba. So a natural love develops within us for Allah the Almighty at this third and final stage.
Amazing! So these three steps apply to both God and His creation.
It's almost like a blueprint for us to get better and better.
Exactly. If we follow this blueprint, we'll progress in the stages of goodness. Now, that's all good, but to test if you guys were really listening to the Friday sermon, you know what we're going to next. We're going to go to the question of the sermon. All right, everyone, time for the question of the sermon, where, as you know, you at home and our panelists here have 10 seconds to get the right answer. So for this week, the question of the sermon is, the Holy Prophet ﷺ refused to offer the funeral prayer of what person? Was it number 1, a person who was cruel and unkind to others? Is it number 2, a person who lies to others? Is it number 3, a person who cheats others? Or is it number 4, a person who does not repay the loans that they have borrowed? Your time starts now. And your time ends now. What are your answers?
I think it's number 4.
I also think it's number 4.
Guys, for this week, your answers are correct.
Alhamdulillah. So, Murabbi Sahib, what does that even have to do with what Hazur Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz was speaking about?
Yeah, first you were talking about goodness, and now there's debt and lending money.
It's good that you brought that up, Asher, and there might be a little bit of confusion, but beloved Hazur Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz did speak about debt and giving back the loans that we borrow in light of the first stage of goodness, which is adl. So, for example, if somebody gives you a debt, you would be doing justice to them by returning what they lent you. If somebody gives you money to borrow, you should return what they have given you, if not more. This is showing justice. But nowadays what happens is people try to take advantage of the people who let them borrow their money. And so the good person who has let you borrow their money is at a state of loss. And so Hazur reminded us that we should, whenever we're borrowing money, taking money, or lending money out, we should write it down and have a record of it, because this is exactly what the Holy Quran actually teaches us as well.
It's amazing how the Holy Quran has a teaching for everything, and it teaches us in the best way possible.
Yeah, I never knew the Holy Quran spoke about how to conduct business.
The Holy Quran has everything that we need in order to live our lives. It teaches us about everything. Now, one more important thing that we have to remember is that at these 3 stages of goodness, there is an appropriate time and place for each stage. So, for example, the first stage of justice or the second stage of kindness, we can't use those stages at all times and at all places. There's an appropriate time and place for each thing. And so, beloved Hazur mentioned that we can't just go and show kindness when it is not due. We have to carefully think about when we have to show kindness, when we have to show justice. And if we show them at the wrong time, then they're not stages of goodness. Then they become evil and vice. So that's something that we have to be careful about.
Yeah, the teachings of Islam are just so deep sometimes, it truly amazes me.
Yeah, I don't think I could have looked that deep in the Holy Quran. Looks like we need to look more carefully.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more about the Holy Quran, we're so lucky to have the commentaries of the Promised Messiah ﷺ that teach us all about the Quran. But unfortunately, this does bring us to the end of this week's episode.
That was way too fast. Well, everyone, don't forget to watch Hazur's full khutbah.
And send in your videos.
Now we're going to go to our critical message.
Did you enjoy this week's Friday sermon for kids? Want to know how you can make it even better? Tell us what you learned from beloved Hazur's Friday sermon and send your videos at fs4kids@mta.tv no later than every Sunday, and we'll try our best to include them in our next show.
Now, we can't include all the videos you guys sent to us. So you guys can visit our Instagram and Twitter at MTA Canada and see all the videos you guys sent to us. Remember, at Friday Sermon for Kids, you're not just the audience, you make the show.
Okay, everyone, it's time to review our little lesson for this week. Pay close attention to the new things we learned about the 3 stages of goodness.
Beloved Hazur Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz spoke about the 3 stages of goodness, which are Adl, Ihsan, and Ita'i Zil Qurba. Beloved Hazur Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz recited verse 91 of chapter 16 of the Holy Quran and explained that we hear this verse every week after the Friday sermon and also on the occasions of both Eids. In this verse of the Holy Quran, Allah the Almighty has taught us 3 levels of goodness that we should strive towards.
Beloved Hazur, may Allah be his helper, also mentioned that the first stage of Adl means to show goodness to others in the same way that they show us goodness. In respect to Allah, it means that we should worship Him as He has commanded us. The second stage of Ihsan means to treat others with more kindness than they show us. and it means to worship Allah as we can see Him. The last stage of Ita'i Zil Qurba means to love others like we love our own family, and to love Allah the Almighty without any conditions or formalities.
Moving forward, beloved Hazur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz explained that these acts of goodness and these stages should be shown at an appropriate time and place. And if they are shown at a wrong time, they do not remain good. At the end, beloved Hazur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz also asked all Ahmadis to pray for the conditions of Pakistan. We as Ahmadis will always try to show goodness. Hazur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz prayed that may Allah the Almighty enable us to continue to do so, and may He punish those cruel people who are not capable of becoming better. Now this was just a short glimpse from the Friday sermon of beloved Hazur Ayyadullah.
Make sure to watch Hazur's full khutbah.
So until next week,
Khuda Hafiz.
गोहर कर दे मगर है शर्त तुमसे मुसलसल राबता रखना मगर है शर्त तुम उससे मुसलसल राबता रखना इमाम वक्त से एक रिश्ता इश्क वफा रखना दिलों में प्यार की खुशबू तो होठों पर दुआ रखना इमाम वक्त से एक रिश्ता इश्क वफा रखना इमाम वक्त से एक रिश्ता इश्क वफा रखना